Hello everyone, I'm Forrest McFreelava, and this is Speedplay Horselords number 16. We left off with very few of our infernal columns left in the entire European area, including Russia. Most of our forces are now in northern India, where we are just continuing to dominate the subcontinent. We left off having fought a few wars which managed to take over essentially the entire area you see before you, in relative ease. Well, we'll continue that previous act and move forward ever more so, annexing a few additional states, putting a lot of forces on them. You'll notice there are rebellions quite constantly. That is just a consistent theme throughout our invasions and annexations of these areas. Now, at any rate, we are just going to get our forces ready and then move forward yet again. Realistically, I don't imagine it will take us very long at all to get through the Indian subcontinent and finish our pillaging of the entire world. Now, there's an interesting thing I'd like to talk about, which is, I guess, something along the lines of the ethics of what we're doing, and how you could argue that we've been more or less destroying the world so far. You'll notice there is a pitched battle, however, like most battles, we just win out loud. Anyway, moving on. This was said in regards to Western Europe after the fall of the Roman Empire, that we used to call it a Dark Age, however now that's seen largely as inappropriate. People would often look at the deconstruction of monuments and massive government buildings, and because we look at it from the perspective of people who live in large civilizations which build massive structures, we see that as a decline. Whereas the local farmers who take the bricks, say, from the Colosseum to build their homes, they would see that as a vast improvement, because now their homes are made out of, concrete instead of maybe mud or whatever. And by the very nature of that change, they're making progress in their own world in their own way, a way that we don't really recognize. However, if you want to go all cultural relativism on us, you could argue that neither way is inherently better. Ergo, what we're doing may not be inherently better or worse than building up a civilization and building up the buildings that contribute to one. What we're doing is just different, and since we're coming in from a nomadic culture, you could argue that we are making as great of an improvement to the world as if a settled society spread infrastructure to it. As from our cultural perspective, pastures are a sign of progress. We are spreading progress, the light of nomadic progress, through the world. One large state at a time. We skipped forward quite a bit to win that war, and you'll see that we are making amazing progress. We're even ending our wars with infernal columns ready to keep pressing forward, something we did not have in Europe. Moving forward still, we just continue to press, and really, we're just unstoppable. There is almost certainly nothing at all that would be able to stop us at this point, so hopefully it'll be rather straightforward and quick, taking out the rest of India and spreading our pasture and the progress. And really, at this point, we may as well say that we're the civilized ones, seeing as, quite frankly, who's going to stand up and disagree? Pretty much no one. So, yeah, we are doing a great thing. The Mongols, the historical Mongols, at one point essentially acted as though they had a divine providence to go and essentially conquer the entire world. Admittedly, they would conquer and rule the entire world. We're conquering and then converting to our way of life the entire world. And unlike the real Mongols, I doubt we're actually going to face any serious difficulty in doing so. We have had a few succession crises. In fact, speaking of, our Khagan just died. However, we didn't lose any titles, and I don't even believe any of our sub-clans are going to be a threat to us, as quite frankly we just have such a massive army just pillaging all of northern India. We do go ahead and attempt to find ourselves some geniuses in order to marry into. We haven't really managed to get very much success in the whole eugenics field. However, we do have one genius in the family at least. We are also getting nephews, and more events that are just complaints from the local Indian religious people. Ultimately, though, I don't quite imagine we're going to have to worry too much about the succession, which was incredibly just straightforward. I really do hope that in later versions of this game they do add a bit more complexity to nomadic inheritance and essentially, yeah, just inheritance and realm division, as that was really the major thing which prevented essentially what we're seeing right now, where nomads just dominate the entire world. So hopefully there will be a little bit of progress into that. At any rate, since there isn't yet, and we're still going strong, we're going to just go ahead and keep annexing more and more lands. You'll notice that we are pillaging just throughout, and look at this, most of the world is now completely gone. There are a few areas, which you can tell by their wrong culture, that aren't quite gone yet, and the Papal State and their crusade is still going on with 300 men. However, even parts of India are now already converted. You'll notice we have quite a few massive sub-clans, however they're still incredibly loyal because of the army that we have. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow with even more as we press in further and near the completion of our goals.